Let's create a budget. Let's get out of debt. Let's build wealth. Guys, welcome back to the channel. So in the previous videos, we went over budgeting, bills, how all of this works, the structure, the flow. So now let's get into how to pay your bills. So obviously everyone is at different levels and different stages in their lives, and I've tried making these videos quite a few times, and I just didn't like the way they turned out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to focus on one thing at a time so you can get an idea on how to pay the bills. So I want to go back over our flow chart first, so before we get into this, so you can kind of have an idea. I don't want anyone to be confused on this. So in this chart, right, the income comes into the checking account, goes into the line of credit, you pay off bad debt. Eventually the bad debt, you'll turn around and use it to buy assets that produce dividend, which will then become income. And then you notice in this, the flow of this, that your expenses will come out, and then you'll have money going to budget, money going to the everyday expense, and money going to your bank. Your bank will then you'll turn around and leverage your bank, which will become income, which will then just flow through your checking account and back to the line of credit. So when I say I don't want people to get confused, what I mean by this, if you look at this chart, right, there's a flow going here, right? There's a flow that constantly goes around and around and around. That's all bills is. You know, you have enough to deal with in life that this expense, even though it's multitudes of videos and all of that, it is to get you to a point to where the expenses in your life becomes minimal to have to worry about that. I mean, you got to deal with relationships, you got to deal with kids, you got to deal with family, you got to deal with work life, you got to deal with, you know, multiple other things that this just needs to be kind of put on the back shelf, and that you have that wealth or that ability to be able to deal with every other things in life. You got your spiritual life, you know, being able to go to church and to give and to witness to people, and to be able to, when you take your kids out, to be able to buy them things. You know, if you're going on that trip to Disney World or somewhere, you could stay in the nice hotels, and you can let them grab souvenirs, and you can start doing the things in life that you want to do. This isn't about, you know, money and greed. It's about enjoying life and being able to do what you want to do. If you tithe at church, you know, you may want to, they have the pastoral days where you can give them more. There's missionaries you can give more outside of your tithes to help, you know, deal with this. If you have your kids, and you know, you can take them out to shelters and help them to feed the hungry, and you can give to your favorite charities. And it's just a matter of being able to do things that you want to do. So that's why, guys, on this, as far as this, I just want this to be a small part of your life where you don't have to worry about stress and paying bills and living paycheck to paycheck, or eating fast food every single day and, you know, the cheap dollar menu. It's about being able to buy the foods for your health. Is about being able to have more time, not less. It is work, but if you follow a simple pattern, then it's not that hard to do. You know, understand that bills is just a pattern. It's just a flow. That's all it is. So if you look at this flow, right, it's coming through here, it's going around, it's flowing over and over, and then you'll have your expenses come out. Understand that if you're taking a loan from your bank, it just keeps flowing. So the main thing about this chart is there's two areas where it stops flow, right? There's two areas. So if it comes through here in your budget, you know, guys, if you haven't watched the other videos, you know, I don't know what else to say. You got to watch the other videos, but your budget comes out. So budget is one thing that you have to really find a discipline to do, and budget is really one of the most important things, because budget controls all the rest of this. Just like in the infinite banking concept, how your death benefit has a direct relationship to your MEC limit, your budget has a direct relationship to pretty much the whole thing of this whole entire thing working, has a lot to do with budget. And budget can go so much deeper because there's a matter of greed, there's a matter of discipline, there's a matter of desires. All of that is included in budget. So budget is kind of like that silent killer of wealth. You know, people don't, you know, budget is, some people take it as, oh, I'm just creating a budget. It goes so much deeper. So being able to control your budget is really gonna test you, and it really is what drives the rest of this. So budget is one way the money, it stops flow. Once it comes out here, this flow can get less and less, or increase better and better, go faster and faster, or slower and slower, depending on your budget. The other area where money comes out is living expenses, utilities, you know, all sorts of mortgage, rent. This is everyday living expenses. There's really no way around this. I mean, that's just the flow of life, that it stops. But any other area, so whenever you're paying bills, or whenever you're buying something, or wherever you're doing something, just think, is it going to one of these two places where it's not in this flow? So that being said, you know, bills, paying your bills, understand that if, first and foremost, make minimum payments on everything. Don't send extra cash. If you're sending extra cash, right, when that money comes in your checking account, comes out to expenses, you know, if you're sending extra cash, everyday expense, say like your credit card payment, if you're sending extra cash to that, it's coming into this column. And your whole point is to keep money flowing. And the two outlets where money will go that will not continue in this flow, you don't want to do. So, you know, on things like these credit cards, car payments, you know, things like that, don't send extra payments unless that's the one that you're focusing on at the time. Because when in this flow, right, think of this flow as it's flowing like this, right? It's going kind of slow. It's pretty much going slow depending on your cash flow. The more your cash flow increases, the faster this starts to move. And the more and more your cash increase, the faster this moves. And the faster this is spinning, the most, that's how optimal it is, right? You want to be as efficient and as clean as possible. So by not sending that extra cash to, you know, extra payments, it's pushing more into this line of credit, into this debt tool. And as it pushes more into this debt tool, it's going to push this faster. And the faster this goes means the faster you're out of debt, the faster you're creating wealth, the faster you're getting to be able to do things in life that you won't normally do. So understand that, you know, always come back to this chart. If you're trying to decide something, or you're trying to figure out what you're doing, understand that debt, right? The debt tool is knocking out debt. So the more you acquire, right? Because this cash flow is the velocity. The higher this is, the faster that circle is going to move. That flow, the faster it's going to flow through that. So if you, let's say you get I need a new car, right? Do you really need a new car? I mean, if you need it, you need it. It is essential, and it does make sense. But if you have a car here and you're like, decide I need a new one, and you go get a new, better, whatever, because your car is almost, you know, being paid off or whatever, you increase it, you know, your new payment's $500, that decreases your cash flow. To keep decreasing your cash flow is going to make that velocity move slower and slower. So just understand that with every new loan you get, any more debt that you incur, the slower and slower this is going to be. I know, you know, there are a lot of people in debt, but if you're going to start moving like this, you're going to start moving like molasses, right? I mean, you're just going to get to your checking account and it's just going to slowly move. I mean, you don't really want to get to that point. You don't want that to weigh yourself down with that. So just remember, as you increase the cash flow, and the good thing about this, as you pay off debt, your cash flow will increase. And as your cash flow increases, you'll start moving faster and faster. And then as you start building wealth, that wealth will turn around, or these assets will turn around and push this faster and faster, because it's going to increase your cash flow. And then eventually your cash comes out, cash goes in. Cash is not made to sit. So guys, I just wanted to kind of have an intro to paying off debt. I'm going to go into the Pacific debt in the next few videos, and we're just going to tackle on one at a time, because trying to do multiple debts all at once, and I might do a video at the end multiple, but it's just those videos to me I just didn't like them, so I deleted them. So guys, if you found value in this video, appreciate a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one.